This is Joe Sample, American jazz keyboardist and composer. Now, if you're looking for a piano player that's one of the pioneers of the electric piano, has also played with heavyweights like Joni Mitchell, Miles Davis, George Benson, and Steely Dan, along with being part of the legendary group, the Crusaders, you came to the right place. This video will examine the life and music of Joe Sample. Welcome back to my channel. Joseph Leslie Sample, born February 1st, 1939, died September 12, 2014, was an American jazz keyboardist and composer. He was one of the founding members of the Jazz Crusaders in 1960, after which its name was shortened to the Crusaders in 1971. His early life. Sample was born in Houston, Texas, the youngest son of Alexander Sample, a mail carrier, and Agatha Sample, a seamstress. Sample began to play the piano at the age of 5. He was a student of the organist and pianist Curtis Mayo. In high school in the 1950s, Sample teamed up with friend saxophonist Wilton Felder and drummer Stix Hooper to form a group called the Swingsters. While studying piano at Texas Southern University, Sample met and added trombonist Wayne Henderson and several other players to the Swingsters, which became the Modern Jazz Sextet and then the Jazz Crusaders, in emulation of one of the leading progressive jazz bands of the day, Art Blakey's Jazz Messengers. Sample never took a degree from the university. Instead, in 1960, he and the Jazz Crusaders made the move from Houston to Los Angeles. He was a member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. The group quickly found opportunity on the West Coast, making its first recording, Freedom Sound, in 1961, and releasing up to 4 albums a year over much of the 1960s. The Jazz Crusaders played at first in the dominant hard bop style of the day, standing out by virtue of its unusual frontline combination of saxophone and trombone. Another distinctive quality was the funky, rhythmically appealing acoustic piano played by Sample, who helped steer the group's sound into a fusion between jazz and soul in the late 1960s. The Jazz Crusaders became a strong concert draw during those years. While Sample and his bandmates continued to work together, he and the other band members pursued individual work as well. In 1969, Sample made his first recording under his own name, Fancy Dance, featured the pianist as part of a jazz trio. In the 1970s, as the Jazz Crusaders became simply the Crusaders and branched into modern sounds, Sample became known as a Los Angeles studio musician, appearing on recordings by Joni Mitchell, Marvin Gaye, Miles Davis, B.B. King, Randy Crawford, George Benson, George Cocker, Herb Alpert, Michael Franks, Anita Baker, and Steely Dan. Sample was a founding member of the LA Express, which was started as the backing band of Tom Scott. However, both Sample and fellow Crusader Larry Carlton left after the group's first album. In 1975, Sample went into the studio with bassist Ray Brown and drummer Shelly Manne to produce a then state-of-the-art recording direct-to-disc titled The Three. About this time, Blue Note Records reissued some of the early works of the Jazz Crusaders as The Young Rabbits. This was a compilation of the recordings produced between 1962 and 1968. The electric keyboard was fairly new in the 1960s, and Sample became one of the instrument's pioneers. He began to use the electric piano while the group retained their original name, and the group hit a commercial high-water mark with the hit single Street Life and the album of the same name in 1979. He released Swing Street Cafe with R&B guitarist Dave T. Walker in 1981. The Crusaders, after losing several key members, broke up after recording Life in the Modern World for the GRP label in 1987. Despite the disbanding of the Crusaders, the members would join each other to record periodically over the years, releasing Healing of the Wounds in the early 1990s. Felder, Hooper, and Sample recorded their first album called Rural Renewal as the reunited Crusader group in 2003 and played a concert in Japan in 2004. After Sample's Fancy Dance in 1969, he recorded several solo albums, including Sample This, produced by George Duke. GRP also released Joe Sample Collection and a 3-disc Crusader Collection as testament to Sample's enduring legacy. Some of the pianist's recent recordings are The Song Lives On in 1999, featuring duets with singer Lalah Hathaway, and The Pecan Tree in 2002, a tribute to his hometown of Houston, where he relocated in 1994. His 2004 album On Verb, Soul Shadows, paid tribute to Duke Ellington and Jelly Roll Morton and pre-jazz bandleader James Reese Europe. In 2007, he recorded Feeling Good with vocalist Randy Crawford. In the mid-1970s, the Crusaders added Larry Carlton. Sample appeared on stage at the Waterfront Hall in Belfast, Northern Ireland on May 28, 2000, playing keyboard solo on George Benson's Deeper Than You Think. This concert was recorded and a DVD entitled George Benson Absolutely Live was subsequently released. A studio version of Deeper Than You Think was recorded featuring Joe Sample in New York in May 1999 during sessions for a Benson collection that included the title Absolute Benson. Some of Sample's works were featured on the Weather Channel, Local at the 8 segments, and his song Rainbow Seeker is included in their 2008 compilation release, The Weather Channel Presents Smooth Jazz 2. Nicole Kidman sang his song One Day I'll Fly Away in the film Moulin Rouge in 2001. The popular In All My Wildest Dreams, also from the 1978 album Rainbow Seeker, was sampled in Tupac's Dear Mama, De La Soul's WRMS's Dedication to the Biddy, Tony Braxton's What's Good, and Arrested Development's Africa's Inside Me. I hope you enjoyed this video on one of my favorite jazz keyboardists, Joe Sample. Now, if you've got a band or musician you'd want featured on this YouTube channel, pop it in the comments section. I'll make another video. Thanks for dropping by. Rock on.